Hollywood thrives on image, on the flawless red carpet moments, on public relationships that feel like fairy tales, and on the illusion that the most glamorous lives are somehow untouched by controversy. For years, Blake Lively has been at the center of that sparkling ideal. From her breakthrough on Gossip Girl to her fashion-forward appearances and her seemingly picture-perfect marriage to Ryan Reynolds, she has long been considered a golden girl of the entertainment world. But even the brightest stars can cast long shadows, and recently those shadows have become impossible to ignore. What started as quiet murmurs within digital media circles has now exploded into a headline-making movement. One by one, Hollywood icons, actors, directors, producers, and even former co-stars have begun speaking up, not to tear Blake down but to pull back the curtain on something much bigger than a single actress. This isn't a feud. It's not celebrity gossip. This is about the growing tension between creative expression and legal control, between powerful influence and the voices trying to hold it accountable. At the heart of the matter is a controversial series of legal actions allegedly taken by Blake Lively's team that, according to several independent creators and journalists, have aimed to silence online commentary. These aren't wild conspiracy theories or baseless rumors. They are shared experiences, first quietly whispered among content creators, then bravely voiced by those who felt the need to speak up. What made this different, though, was that Hollywood listened. And not only listened, some of its biggest names chose to stand alongside those lesser-known voices. When a respected Oscar-winning actor reposts an open letter from content creators calling out the misuse of legal power, people pay attention. When a famed director publicly denounces the silencing of digital commentary, it sends ripples through an industry built on storytelling. And when a former co-star breaks their silence to speak up for fairness, it signals that the tides are shifting. These aren't tabloid voices or rival celebrities taking cheap shots. These are well-respected figures using their influence to spark an overdue conversation. Why now? Why Blake? And why are so many speaking up at once? The answers are as complex as they are compelling. For years, social media has transformed the relationship between fans, critics, and celebrities. What once existed solely in the pages of glossy magazines now plays out in real time on TikTok, YouTube, and Twitter. Commentary has evolved from fan theories and gossip blogs to full-fledged media analysis, with creators dedicating entire channels to exploring celebrity behavior, brand partnerships, and media ethics. This evolution has blurred the lines between entertainment and journalism, between criticism and commentary, and with that evolution has come pushback from PR firms, from lawyers, and from those who believe their image is being unfairly judged. Blake Lively, known for her poised public persona, finds herself caught in the center of this storm. Not necessarily because of what she did or didn't do, but because of how her team reportedly responded to criticism. Several YouTubers and online commentators claimed they were threatened with legal notices after discussing public information or sharing opinions about her and her legal affiliations. Many of these creators are small, some with just a few thousand followers, making the imbalance of power impossible to ignore. And that's where the real issue lies. This controversy has grown far beyond a single person or a single set of legal letters. It has become a symbol of a larger battle playing out in real time. Who gets to control the narrative in Hollywood? Can legal pressure be used to silence fair commentary? Should influence shield someone from public scrutiny? And when creators feel they cannot speak freely without risking everything, who will speak for them? That's the question that prompted some of Hollywood's biggest names to join the conversation. These stars weren't looking for drama. They didn't rush to Twitter with hot takes or cryptic shade. Instead, they lent their credibility to a movement that demands accountability, not just from Blake Lively, but from an industry that sometimes protects image at the cost of truth. The courage shown by these icons has sparked not just headlines, but hope that the entertainment industry can be more than just curated perfection. Hope that creators can express themselves without fear. Hope that even the most glamorous faces in Hollywood can stand for something deeper. What's unfolding is not about cancellation. It's not a mob mentality. It's a reckoning. A cultural moment where the conversation is no longer limited to fan blogs or behind-the-scenes whispers. It's happening in the open, with respected figures choosing to be part of a solution rather than stay safely on the sidelines. As this story continues to develop, the world is watching, not just to see how Blake Lively responds, but to understand what kind of industry Hollywood wants to be. Will it protect only the powerful, or will it evolve into a space where influence and integrity can coexist? Will it allow creators to speak, or will it continue to punish those who dare to question? One thing is for certain: the game has changed. And thanks to the brave voices who stood up, it may never be the same again. In the glitzy world of Hollywood, few stars have enjoyed the seemingly perfect trajectory that Blake Lively has, from her breakthrough role in Gossip Girl to her acclaimed performances on the big screen and her public image as half of a beloved power couple. With Ryan Reynolds, Blake was seen as Hollywood royalty. But beneath the glamour, something unexpected was brewing. Rumors started circulating across media outlets and social platforms suggesting that several high-profile figures in the entertainment industry were quietly aligning against her, not out of rivalry but to bring transparency to some of the legal maneuvers and behind-the-scenes tactics that many insiders believed were going too far. What shocked everyone wasn't just the murmurs of discontent, it was who was speaking out. Not one, not two, but multiple respected icons in the industry started hinting at their experiences and opinions, choosing their words carefully but making it clear there was a pattern of behavior they could no longer ignore. It wasn't just a single incident, it was a growing concern regarding the use of legal influence, pressure on smaller creators, and alleged silencing efforts in ongoing disputes. The industry took notice. One of the first to break the silence was a seasoned director known for their advocacy of creative freedom. While never naming names directly, the implications in their statement were unmistakable. They spoke about the need for accountability and fairness in how influence is wielded in Hollywood, especially when it affects those with smaller platforms. Soon after, a well-loved actress who had previously worked with both Blake and Ryan shared a post emphasizing solidarity with content creators, stating that no one should be made to feel threatened simply for using their voice within legal bounds. Then came the moment that shifted everything. A legendary actor who rarely comments on controversies reposted an open letter written by a group of creators discussing the challenges they faced after being targeted in what they described as intimidating legal actions. The repost was captioned with a simple but powerful statement: "Enough is enough." The entertainment world was left stunned. These weren't fringe figures, they were industry leaders respected for their work and their integrity. Their united front wasn't an attack, it was a call for reflection and fairness. Their courage inspired others to follow suit, and the conversation grew louder by the hour. While many fans were trying to piece together what exactly led to this sudden wave of public critique, insiders pointed to a growing discontent over how legal systems were allegedly being used to suppress commentary. Several independent journalists and YouTubers had come forward in recent months sharing that they'd been hit with legal threats after commenting on high-profile celebrity dynamics involving Blake and her team. While not all these claims could be verified, the volume and consistency of the accounts drew attention. The growing concern wasn't about whether celebrities had a right to defend their image. It was about the scale and method being used. Several high-profile legal experts weighed in, explaining that while legal action can be valid, it becomes ethically complicated when used against individuals who lack the resources to defend themselves. This disparity in power triggered an outcry, not just from creators but from those within the industry who value transparency and fair play. An acclaimed producer went on record in an interview saying that using influence to shape narratives is nothing new, but that the moment it begins to silence legitimate commentary, it becomes a problem for the whole industry. "We're not talking about hate," they said. "We're talking about honest, respectful dialogue being silenced, and that crosses a line." In response to the outpouring of concern, many within Hollywood began reevaluating their stance. Studio executives, showrunners, and even publicists acknowledged the shifting landscape. There was growing recognition that celebrity reputation management needed to evolve alongside digital commentary and media freedom. Blake Lively, known for her eloquence and charm, had not directly responded to the growing criticism, but her team released a statement asserting that any legal action taken was strictly in defense of personal boundaries and misinformation. The statement emphasized that the goal was never to suppress voices, but to ensure that public discussion remained rooted in verified facts. However, for many, the issue wasn't the intent. It was the effect. The overwhelming perception was that creators were backing away from even mild commentary out of fear, which sparked even greater concern among First Amendment advocates. Conversations were held across major media networks with legal panels, celebrity journalists, and ethics analysts all weighing in. What became clear was this: the era of celebrities operating above digital accountability was ending. As icons across Hollywood continued to voice support for transparency and fair dialogue, a new standard began to emerge, one where reputation could no longer be protected through silence or suppression alone. This incident didn't just impact Blake Lively's image, it sparked a much broader conversation about power, influence, and digital freedom. As social platforms have become the new frontier for cultural commentary, the rules are still being written. What this moment illustrated was the importance of balance between protecting one's dignity and allowing space for critique. Creators across platforms began sharing their gratitude for the Hollywood figures who had stood beside them. Hashtags like #creators deserve respect and #speak with integrity began trending, symbolizing a movement toward accountability that went beyond celebrity disputes. Even creators who had never spoken about Blake directly began expressing relief that the industry was listening. What's especially noteworthy is that this wasn't about cancel culture. It wasn't a call to tear someone down, it was a unified demand for fairness, a request for those with power to wield it with care. The entertainment industry thrives on stories, connection, and voice. The moment any of those elements is restricted, the culture suffers. Blake Lively remains a talented and beloved actress, and this chapter may ultimately lead to greater clarity and growth for her as well. But the wave of voices that joined together sent a clear message: no one, regardless of their fame, is beyond accountability. Transparency and conversation are not threats, they're the foundation of any healthy creative community. As the dust settles on this surprising and thought-provoking chapter in Hollywood, one thing becomes clear: this moment was never truly about Blake Lively alone. Rather, it was about the power structures that exist behind the polished images and carefully crafted narratives we consume daily. The unexpected move by some of Hollywood's most respected voices to call for fairness, transparency, and ethical use of legal influence has started a wave of change that's likely to leave a lasting impact on the industry. This wasn't a smear campaign, nor was it a takedown. It was a moment of accountability, a rare and brave stand where creators, artists, and celebrities alike came together to say that the voices of independent commentators matter, that journalists, YouTubers, and digital critics deserve the right to express themselves without the fear of overwhelming legal retaliation. The show of unity from within the very heart of Hollywood proved that respect for creative freedom doesn't have to come at the cost of personal boundaries, but that both can coexist. If approached with integrity, Blake Lively, admired for her grace and professionalism, now finds herself at the center of a larger cultural shift. How she and her team choose to engage moving forward could be pivotal, not only for her public image, but for the conversation around reputation, legal power, and digital expression. This moment could be an opportunity for her to become part of the solution. By opening up honest dialogue and reevaluating how influence is exercised, Blake has the chance to lead with empathy and evolve alongside the very industry she helped shape. For fans and creators alike, this has been a wake-up call. It's a reminder that we are living in a time when everyone's voice, no matter how big or small, holds power. With that comes responsibility on both sides. While content creators must strive for truth and respect in their commentary, public figures must recognize the importance of allowing space for critique without resorting to intimidation. The solidarity shown by iconic figures in the industry has set a new standard. It's no longer just about maintaining image, it's about building trust through openness, accountability, and mutual respect. And that ultimately is how Hollywood will continue to grow, not just as an entertainment powerhouse, but as a space that truly reflects the values of its diverse global audience. This story is still unfolding, and more voices may yet join the conversation. But one thing is certain: the landscape has changed. And as more people step forward in support of fairness and transparency, the industry's future looks a little more balanced and a lot more hopeful.